Hey there, it's Logan Crocker with Marketing for Normal People, and Apple is actually holding, right now, as I record this video, their live stream for the iPhone 16 series, amongst other products. But typically when that happens, Apple also totally transitions the website. So the website's going to get switched out too. But yeah, this is a final look at the iPhone 15 website. I assume it's going to be taken down very, very soon. So I wanted us to be able to check it out before that happens. What did they do well? What could be improved? What can we learn from it? I'll give you my live commentary and reactions as I check out the site. So let's go ahead and take a look. So right here, this is the iPhone 15 website. And I'm just using a modern Mac and I am using Safari. So I am going for the experience that Apple intends. And I'm just doing this on a full screen monitor. This is a 27-inch monitor, very, very standard. Apple sells monitors that are this big or larger. But it is interesting, as you can see, this iPhone 15 image is not taking up the full size of the screen. On a smaller computer, this image right here, this pink iPhone 15, would take up the entire size of the image of the viewport that you're looking at on the website. But in this case, because I'm on just not a small MacBook screen, there's actually all this border around it, which in my opinion looks really, really bad. I don't know if that's completely intentional or if they're having a scaling issue right now or something else is going on, but this animation looks really, really good on a small screen. Not so much right here. So let me go ahead and refresh so that we can actually see the animation. So I'll refresh right there. And there's the iPhone 15 and that nice little animation that comes in when we first load the site. And then there's the buy button right here. And so again, for whatever reason, yeah, just on a larger screen, it's not doing what normally happens on a smaller screen. But typically on a small screen, that whole animation plays, and then the buy button is actually hidden. We call that below the fold. So you have the fold, which is just basically when you first load a page, anything below that you can't see right away, that's considered below the fold. And so this buy button is actually typically below the fold. Anyway, just some interesting things relative to them on larger screen sizes. I'm trying to take a look at these websites on large full screens so that way we can really get the full experience. But in this particular case, it seems like Apple may not have optimized for that, which is curious. Anyway, so let's actually check out the page and go through it a little bit. So I'm scrolling down and we have get the highlights right here. And so this is auto scrolling. So as you can see, there's like a zoom in animation right there, and then it's scrolling to the next thing. And there's another animation where it's taking that around, and then it's auto scrolling. This just has a scale animation. So yeah, some of these seem to be more video animations and some seem to be a lot more subtle. Interesting that it doesn't loop back. It just, it kind of takes me through these different place points down here for me to choose between. So like I can choose another one if I want to, but, and then as I choose others, the animations aren't there anymore. That's interesting to see. So I can hit play and it'll kind of go through the whole thing again. But yeah, that's just an interesting approach. These are complex animations in a lot of, not in all of these, but some of these definitely seem to be video animations. And so, there can be bandwidth concerns. That's the thing, is like in theory, if people just were on super fast internet on a really powerful device, you could do a lot more interesting stuff on the web. But with good websites, you have to make sure that it'll look good no matter what device people are on. Anyway, you also have these two call to actions right here, watch the film and watch the event. If I click on watch the film, then yeah, just this little video comes up, and I can click the X right there to get out of that. And then watch the event would take me to the event page where they actually announced the iPhone 15. All right, we can take a closer look, and I really, really like this. So, well, actually, okay. So up here, if I continue going up, it actually, it's a little weird. I think it's too delayed. Normally Apple isn't this, I'll call it bubbly. Normally Apple isn't this bubbly with their animations, but as I scroll down, you see just right here at the bottom, you see this just kind of circle pop up, and then, it kind of expands, and now we have these controls. And if I go up, it kind of vanishes. I think it takes a little bit too long. I do think it would look a little bit better if it was a little bit more subtle, but that's just interesting. So yeah, take a closer look. And so yeah, we have the iPhone in pink right here. And once again, as far as like controls go, it's animating in right here too. And even though these are very different controls, it has the same look the kind of pill shape, and then the circle, it has the same container for the most part. And so this is technically a smaller pill shape, but it's all aesthetically kind of the same. So anyway, so we can, switch between these options. This isn't auto animating. This is something I would actually switch between. Let's actually try and refresh it and see if anything does auto animate right there. Interesting. Click and turn iPhone to explore iPhone. It's not even, okay. I had to scroll a good bit. Sometimes Apple does great things with their website. Sometimes I do think, again, I'm on Safari on a modern Mac. Yeah, so sometimes some things don't seem to work quite like they expect, which is interesting. Anyway, explore the full story, dynamic island. So they have this header here. Again, really, really nice animation. And they're continuing this animation. That one catches and then goes like these. Well, no, I guess they all catch. Okay, so they all kind of stick to the bottom no matter where you are. And until you get to a certain point, and then so it's called a sticky element when it kind of sticks to a spot on your screen. So, initially, it's just always, a few pixels above the bottom of my screen, basically, until you get to this point where it releases the stick. So that animation, that's nice. And we can also, Apple loves to do these like pop-ups. They like it when you, as a consumer, when you want to check out more information, because they don't want the page to be overwhelmingly long with tons of details if you don't want all those details. Though I do honestly think that it'd be easy for someone who, there's not a whole lot of like, hey, really check this out. Like, I feel like it could be easy for people to miss this. And so I would be very curious in their analytics, like how many people see this, because there's a lot of good animations and information right here. I think a lot of this stuff looks great and is very good to know. But yeah, that's but yeah, I'm certain a lot of people miss this pop-up. But that is a good strategy to use a pop-up for more information. Just make it really, really clear to your users that they can click there, so that way they know, hey, they can get this information. Because it's a give and take, because the less information you put on a page, the easier it is going to be to consume, which can be an advantage and a disadvantage in different cases. But also, anything you don't put on the page, you have to know as a marketer, you have to know that a lot of people are not going to click. You're only going to get a certain percentage, typically a very small percentage of a conversion rate on that click. And so a lot of people might even scroll down to the bottom of this page, but a lot of people are not going to click something like, even if you do a good job of driving attention to it. So that's interesting. All right, so we have this little header right here, little description. Interesting. I think that this looks good centered. A lot of times on some of their modern products, Apple is really playing with balance, and they have this very much on the left side, which is just interesting. Because I don't know if that looks totally the best, but it works. So anyway, this is I guess just a video that plays over and over again. I don't know if it's being triggered by scroll or, okay, it looks like it is. No, it's not. I don't know how I re-triggered that. Okay, I guess maybe you have to go completely away from it and then go back onto it. That's nice, because a lot of times a consumer will miss stuff if they accidentally scroll far down the page. I have some other Apple product sites that I just looked at where there was tons of animations. For instance, the Apple Watch Series 9, there were tons of animations that were missed because I had already scrolled down part of the page and had accidentally triggered something. And so I think that this works well. Like this is how you should do it, where every time the user scrolls past something, the animation will trigger. We have these little blurbs. I like this, simple icons. Yeah, that's great. Go deeper on design. Once again, we have this pop-up. That's really clean. That looks nice. So yeah, we have this nice little border radius. Interesting that when you scroll to the very top, there's more space up here, and there's very, very little space down here. I wonder how intentional that is. I assume most things that Apple does is quite intentional, but I do occasionally find some errors and some things that don't seem to be working right. So yeah, just wonder about that. I like in this case, because this pop-up is so long, I like that the exit button actually sticks to the top too. So you can always click the exit button no matter where you are on this. I think that that's wise. I assume, yeah, by clicking off of it, you can also exit the pop-up. But just having that for the user is a good idea. I think that's great. All right, and now they're going to talk about the camera. We're going to zoom in on the cameras. And so another animation there. Let's see if that one replays. Okay, that one also replays. Yeah, so that's good. Again, on some of the other sites that Apple has, it's not replaying the animations on scroll, but that's what you want, I think. I like the balance here where you have some smaller details over here, but then you have some specific callouts right here. I think that's good. We can once again zoom in on the cameras. And we can check out what's in this pop-up right here. I think that this is a lot, like, it's interesting to have something small like that again on the left side. But then, like, that's a lot of image for very, very little text. I think this works a little bit better, but yeah, I mean, it works, but I do feel like from a balance perspective, it's a little not quite ideal. And yeah, it's interesting that that's over to the right side. I don't know. It works because there's kind of a diagonal balance here, but yeah, I see Apple doing that a lot on a lot of their modern products, and you got to be real intentional about that. And I think if you're starting with web development, trying to do that is not the move. All right. Focus Pocus. Apple loves their puns. Magical new portraits. So yeah, so we have the more detail and richer color. And I think that balance is great. 2x telephoto. Okay, that's kind of cool. I like this. There was, I think it was on the Apple Watch, I was commenting how their buttons being on the side that they had buttons on the side too that you could like scroll through things like this, and I didn't think that worked very well because of the placement, but this I think works better because these images here are smaller. So I think that works really well with having the buttons on the side. If these images weren't smaller, I think it looks a little weird, and so you can check out my video on the Apple Watch Series 9, and that one looks a little off compared to this. I think this looks a lot better. So we can just scroll through all kinds of portrait images, all the wonderful things. And then, so in this case, they're using a whole background image here. That's great contrast against the text. The darker blue against the white text works really, really well. We have some little fade animations, nothing crazy on these pop-ups, but we do have some fade animations when we reach certain points, it fades in and out. So I think that works well. I like this, with something like photo features, just having a gallery, I think is a great idea. I like the pet. It's a solid pet photo. A lot of people are into that kind of stuff. All right. Now we're talking about the battery life. I kind of feel like I personally wish that there was like something a little bit more visual, like just a little icon or something that's like a camera icon or it could be up here. Something about like color design, and yeah, like a little battery icon. Like these, if you're reading it from top to bottom, I think it works well. But like it's a little, you have to read in order to see what you're looking at. And like if I'm just curious and if I'm on this page and I just immediately want to know what do they say about battery life, like it might be a little hard for me to scroll through and immediately know this is about battery life, because there's a lot of times Apple does a really good job of matching their images or animations or things like that to the actual content that they're talking about. But this is an Apple TV Plus show, and I understand how okay, you need a lot of battery life to watch a lot of content, but I don't think that this works super well. This just doesn't scream battery life to me, like just this image by itself. So now obviously this helps, but yeah, I think that just some other sort of iconography or something could help there. I like this, making sure, okay, 26 hours, 20 hours. I like that. That's pretty clear. All right, now they're going to talk about the chip, and we move into a black section. We go from a lot of white, and now we are moving into black. Something feels powerful about it. So we have this video plan right here. And so, okay, and then it just stops at A16 Bionic. We'll see if that re-triggers. It does. So yeah, so you can see it animating into the phone, and then yeah, we got the A16 Bionic right here. Interesting. I don't know if that's actually a browser. No, that probably is a browser feature. But yeah, so this isn't normal selectable text, but I think the browser is able to identify it as text anyway. And then we have this descriptive section, and then it's a little curious. Like I don't know if that means like, hey, here's a reason why you want to upgrade. So yeah, okay. This is like compared to another. That's an interesting icon choice for like comparing to another phone. So it's compared to the iPhone 12. And so yeah, okay, so they're really comparing the iPhone 15 to the iPhone 12 in this case. So three years behind. Um, Interesting. So yeah, I guess when you see this icon, that's what that's supposed to mean. I don't see Apple using a lot of divider lines, at least in a lot of these sites, and so it's interesting to see a divider line there. I think a divider line is great in a lot of cases, and I think it works really well there. But yeah, I just don't see that a lot on their sites. All right, we got USB-C. Interesting because so they have this in a dark color and then the unpaddable in a lighter color to kind of play off of the USB-C. I think that works well. But interesting. Okay, and so then we have these images here showing that, okay, you can plug in, I guess the idea is you can plug all these things in with USB-C, and you have your iPhone right there, and then we can look more connectivity. It's interesting because like there's a lot of things you can do with USB-C, and it seems like, yeah, they're not. And also this has nothing to do with USB-C. Anyway, that's an interesting content choice. So that's the, I guess, just all the connectivity stuff. They, yeah, seem to be a lot less interested in that on their main page. But all right, and then we're going into emergency services. Interesting to just kind of put this header right on the image. Apple typically has stuff outside the image, so that's interesting. But yeah, I think it works. This image kind of naturally. Well, actually, that's a black gradient because you can see that there's no tire down there, so it's just a straight up like black. Actually, no, that's not even a gradient. It's not even fading in, so that's just a black background section right there, pretty much. But anyway, so then we have these two little descriptions. Now you can notice too, Apple is very rarely going over a couple sentences, like in a single section. They do a couple sentences at most, and they keep it very, very visual. I think that works well. Learn how it all works. Now, kind of sometimes you do need a lot of words to really get something across, but I think that they're dividing their paragraphs well here, and I think that works plenty fine. More use of divider lines. Anyway, so yeah, we got these different things: emergency SOS, crash detection. So yeah, there's all of that. And so yeah, once again, like they're not giving you much information on just the main page. They're expecting you, if you want that, to click. I don't know that these are obvious enough to users to. Again, I just wonder what their actual click rates are on here. All right, and then we're getting into eco-friendly information. No graphic here other than these icons. That's interesting. What iPhone stands for. So there's that section. This one, no, it's not wider. I don't know. Something about the padding on that looked different to me. No, I guess they all have a good bit of left and right padding. Okay, interesting. So yeah, maybe this one just looks more plain with less images, and so it just draws more attention to all this blank space on either side. But anyway, all right, iOS 17. So that's the software that runs on it. A few more call out items below images, and then find out more about iOS 17. So in that case, that actually is not taking you to a pop-up. That's taking you to a whole separate page, a whole separate link. And actually, it is helpful. Again, I don't know that these are the best, most clear ways to get people to click on them, but this is a plus, and a plus in this case indicates for them a pop-up, and then this is not a plus. This is a little arrow, so that's indicating they're going to another page. So they are thinking through their iconography with that kind of thing, for sure. And then we have some little drop-down sections here. I think that works plenty well. I think that in a lot of cases, instead of like, hey, click here for a whole other little mini site basically about this thing, I think having sections like this works well, because I bet you if for users who actually get this far down the page, I bet that a lot more people are clicking on these than are clicking on these. I feel like that there's not even a description on any of these unless you click on them, so I feel like people are just more prone to click on this. It's pretty obvious what they would do if you click. I feel like it's just a little easier to miss some of these. So yeah, I wonder if my assumption is correct on that. Anyway, ways to shop and save at Apple. So, an iPhone's an expensive product, so they're trying to give people opportunities to get them with some, different financing options and things like that. And so they go over that here. I assume that, so this would mean, yep. Okay. Well, they're storing their down right now, but so we have arrows for other links, and then this is probably pop-ups. So again, they're consistent with all that. Just for the sake of it, I'll look at each one of these real fast. So get to know your iPhone, shop with a live specialist. You can book an appointment. And this is good ideas. Like, a lot of times you want buy links on your sales page that's just like, hey, buy my thing. But with iPhones, there's so many different ways to buy them and so many different ways people might want to do it that I think it is good to give a lot of flexibility. I still think that you want one main call to action, like just buy here. And even these, have learn more, which again, go to links at that point. But so yeah, I think that this is good. This is almost like a little FAQ section practically. In addition to these buttons, you can also scroll through these. So that's always nice. Anyway, and then there's that one. So those are all the pop-ups that they're using. For these, and it is light boxing, so it is making the stuff like the content behind the pop-up dimmer. So that's a light box technique. Anyway, keep exploring iPhone. So you can check out the iPhone 15 Pro. You can explore all the iPhones. You can buy the iPhone 15 and learn more about the iPhone 15 Pro. Here's some of the main differences between them. Compare all iPhone models, and then we're done. Interesting that, I don't know why, but all the other Apple products that we looked at so far have the view this product in AR. Maybe that's not working for them, but this one doesn't have a little card that says view in AR. So that's interesting. Anyway, we can compare all iPhone models. And again, that has the arrow. So that's taking you to a separate page. This is interesting. A lot of their other products don't have these little animations and these little call to action buttons. I think it kind of works. It's an interesting little idea. But yeah, I am worried that people might miss it. It looks cool. Certainly that, but yeah, I don't know. I'd love to see some stats on that. Anyway, let me go ahead and just scroll us down the page one last time just to get the whole feel for it, and then we can say goodbye, because again, the iPhone 16 is just about to come out, and so that is going to be their main iPhone sales page at that point. So all right. The iPhone 15, everybody. Okay. So that is a final look at the iPhone 15 sales page website. If you would like to check out another final look at one of Apple's 2024 products before this big September announcement, click right here. And as always, if you want my free marketing crash course where I cover the new fundamentals of modern marketing that drive awareness, grow an audience, and get people to buy from you, plus some fun web design, go to marketingfornormalpeople.com or click or scan right here. All right, catch you later.